All right, hello, fellow AMC shareholders, sisters and brothers, investors at large, near and far. Driving through a little rain here. Pretty good storm blowing through my part of the world, which we're grateful for. It's really interesting to see the pushback that Gary Genslar is getting. It's almost like, I'm not a Genslar fan myself. But it's interesting as he brings up proposals for policy changes, etc., etc., and the pushback he gets, you can almost start to target who's either got money in hedge funds, whose brother-in-law owns a hedge fund, manages a hedge fund. It's pretty funny, to me anyway. Could be off base, but I doubt that I am. It's just really interesting because meme stop, I think it was put, was just briefly referenced by one member of one of the, let me turn this down, branches of government. Let's see, is he with the Senate today? I can't remember. I didn't look long enough to really, here, I'm going to set this down, really get a feel for who was talking about what. It's just interesting to see the pushback that he's getting. Years ago, a lot of years ago, a friend of a relative of mine got his family out of the American stock market prior to the big crash in the late 1920s. And he pooled their resources shortly later thereafter and got into precious stones, gemstones. And to this day, there's a huge amount of generational wealth there, which is not a recommendation. It's something I do a little bit of just because I like hunting for stones. So I, rather than invest, I go out and actually try and find them in various places. I grew up in a gold mine in the Pacific Northwest, and so it's fun for me to kind of bring that stuff out of the earth, and that's sort of part of my investing strategy. Teaching my kid to do that as well. But it's just interesting, he saw it coming in. Robert Kiyosaki has an interesting take on, investing in stocks. He calls it gambling. And, I guess at the beginning of the AMC thing, I did not gamble what I was not prepared to lose. I know some of you are kind of savvy enough and have studied enough and have taught yourself enough to day trade effectively. I didn't really get that far. I see the merits of it, but I just, the market as it exists in this country just does not interest me. I noticed, or I remember hearing in an interview, I can't remember with whom, it might have been a Kiyosaki interview with someone else, but they were talking about fails to deliver, or failed to delivers, depending on how you look at it, FTDs. And the guy went to China and said, so how many FTDs do we have on, some certain stock or whatever? And the Chinese representative said, none. Because that's, the offense they take to that over there probably would end your life or have you jailed for the foreseeable future. Now, do I want to live in China? No. But I think there is something to be said for having accountability. At any rate, having watched a little bit of the Genslar thing and just kind of, laughing at the pushback he was getting, I maintain that until there's a hard reboot of our existing market, just not interested in doing it long term. I would have to see something in place where you knew you had an equal playing field, equal footing, and you weren't just going to be, case in point, okay, so Taylor Swift is going to be this huge influx of cash for AMC, and yet there is still a hard push to say that the theater model is on the way out. Now, I think it's definitely changing, but I can look at stadiums full of rock music fans at Def Leppard shows and tell you people love live events. You know, now that streaming has occurred, is it cutting into theater attendance? Yeah, it certainly is. Is that going to shut it down completely? No. But that concerted effort to shut it down by people who want to make money off shorting the stock, and what Citi's doing to AMC right now, there's just money to be made for them to push that narrative. So, you know, that's why I'm involved in other stuff. Hopefully you are as well. Hopefully there's some just diversification in your investment strategies. At any rate, that's it for me. I'm enjoying the rain. I hope you're doing well wherever you are, and that you know, you're able to take a breather from AMC, GME, Sundial, GTII, wherever you see your meme stock money taking some hits. Anyway, take care.